A warm welcome to you all. It is the Science of Class 9, Chapter 15, and today I am going to teach you about crop protection management. Crops are often infested and damaged by some harmful agents like weeds, insect pests, and diseases. So we are going to discuss how these agents harm the crops and what we can do to control them. So let us take them one by one. First of all, it is weeds, which are unwanted plants. Just recall, when you grow some plants in your kitchen garden or when you are growing the plants in your pots, sometimes you see some grasses or some different kind of plant is growing along with your plants which you have grown. And those plants you have actually not grown and you need to uproot them. So what are these plants? From where they have come from? Actually, it is the result of seed dispersal. It is the season of growth of those plants also, but these are unwanted for you because you have grown some other type of plants in your kitchen garden or in your pots. And you keep on removing them. And why do you remove them? So we will discuss that. The same thing happens in big fields or the farms of the farmers. Whenever they are growing any crop, it may be a vegetable crop or a sugarcane crop, wheat crop, sometimes they see that some wild plants are growing along with that, some grasses are growing along with that, and these unwanted plants are called weeds. Weeds are also plants and they are absorbing water and nutrients from the soil, and crops also need the same thing. So there is a competition between the weeds and the crop for nutrients, for water, and also for space and sunlight. And as a result, the crop plants' growth is affected because their share is taken away by the weeds. So it is really required to remove these weeds. Removal of the weeds is known as weeding, and how weeding is done, that we are going to discuss now. There are different methods of weeding. The first method I am taking is mechanical method. In mechanical method, the weeds are uprooted by hands. For that, it can be simple uprooting by the hands, or maybe the trowel or khurpi can be used. Even sometimes plowing also helps in this case. At the time of plowing, some of the weeds which are already growing in the field, the seeds which are already scattered due to seed dispersal in the field get damaged, or the plants get uprooted, and this is how weeds get removed, and that method is mechanical method. Second method is chemical method. In this method, we use chemicals which are mixed with water. A dilute solution is prepared and it is sprayed on these unwanted plants or the weeds. Some examples of these weedicides. Weedicides are the chemicals which kill the weeds. Some examples are 2,4-D, that is 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, butachlor, and atrazine. Another method is biological method. In this method, we take help of certain organisms or insects which are deliberately put in the field and they eat the weeds. One example is of cochineal insect. This insect specifically feeds on prickly pear, which is a wild plant, and sometimes it is seen growing in the fields. So by any of these methods, weeding can be done or we can control the weeds. Now, next bioagent which can harm the crop is insect pests. Pests are the organisms which cause some kind of harm to the crops. Here we are talking about insects. Insects harm the crops in three ways. One is by cutting the stem, leaves, or the fruit. Another is by sucking the cell sap. Actually, they stick on the surface of fruit or that of the stem and keep on absorbing their nutrients or sucking their nutrients from the cell sap. And another way by which they cause harm to the crop is boring. They make a hole or they cause boring in the fruit or the stem. Children, you must have seen that sometimes when we buy some vegetable like brinjal, it's a good example. Sometimes in the brinjal we see a hole is there, and inside that hole there is a caterpillar or larva of the insect. So it is harming the vegetable, and this is how the insect can be harmful to the crop plants. Now what should be done for that? Again, certain chemicals are used and insecticides are sprayed on these crop plants. Biological method can also be used, like ladybird is an organism, an insect which does not harm the crop, but it can be useful in eating away and finishing the scale insects which can harm the crops. Now next one is diseases. Just like we suffer from diseases, plants also suffer from viral, bacterial and fungal diseases. For example, blight of potato and tomato is caused by fungus. Another example is yellow vein mosaic, that is caused by virus. Citrus canker, it is the disease of citrus fruits. Citrus fruits have citric acid, they are sour in taste, like sweet lime, lemon or oranges, and it is caused by bacteria. Now what to do for preventing the crop plants from diseases? Again, certain insecticides can be helpful in this case also, and fungicides can be used, bactericides can be used. So these chemicals kill the microbes and protect our plants from the diseases. So children, this is how we can protect the crop while it is growing in the field. Other than these methods, there are certain preventive measures which we can adopt. One is use disease resistant or insect resistant varieties, so they are not easily attacked by the insects and diseases. Another is summer plowing can be done to control the weeds. One more method is follow the correct cropping pattern. Like by intercropping, as I told you in the previous session, if we grow the marigold flowers, then they repel certain insects which could otherwise damage the tomato crop. Even by crop rotation also, we can check the entry of insects in our fields and the growth of weeds in our field. Farmers can also make some adjustment in the timing of growth of the crop, which should not match with the timing of growth of the weeds. So this is how crop protection can be done. Children, here I want to tell you about organic farming also. Organic farming is such a farming in which there is minimum use of chemicals or almost no use of chemicals. Instead of chemicals, we follow some other method. For example, in place of using fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, we use biofertilizers. That means growth of the leguminous crop or culturing the blue-green algae which can enrich the soil with nitrogen. Similarly, for repelling the insects, neem leaves can be used. And also we adopt the correct cropping pattern again to check the entry of the insects. So almost no chemicals are used in organic farming, and these days the fruits and vegetables are quite trending, and they are very healthy as they are free from chemicals. Now before I talk about the next topic, that is storage of greens, let me give you some examples of weeds which are commonly growing in the Indian fields. One is Parthenium, that is gajar ghas, Xanthium, that is kokru, Cyprus rotundus, that is mota, Amaranthus, which is cholai, Chenopodium, that is bathua, and Avena sativa, that is wild oat. See children, as I just gave you the example of wild oat, so one point you should remember that these weeds must also be removed because they can be the part of the final harvest if they are not removed well on time. Before they start flowering or their seeds spread in the field, they must be removed. Otherwise, if they grow along with your crop and at the time of harvesting, they become the part of your harvest, and by chance they are consumed by the animals or the humans, it can be highly toxic for them because some of them are poisonous in nature. Now let us talk of storage of grains. See children, when the harvest is ready, the crop is mature, we get huge tons of grains ready with us, and even the fruits and vegetables. They cannot be consumed immediately. They have to be stored in big godown storage houses, and then they will be used in the coming months and even in the coming years. So at this stage also, protection has to be done against various biotic and abiotic factors. When the grains are stored in the godowns, they can be eaten away by the rodents like squirrels and rats. So these godowns are closed properly. And even insects can eat them up. Bacteria and fungal attack can occur. That is why grains are first of all dried properly in the sun to reduce their moisture content. With more moisture in the grains, they will be easily attacked by the insects and microbes. In case of fruits and vegetables which have lot of moisture, temperature has to be made very low in the storage houses. So these are kept in cold storages. So children, these storage houses are dried properly, cleaned properly, and their proper fumigation is done. In fumigation, the poisonous fumes, the gaseous sprays are done so that we can kill the microbes or the insect larvae or the insect eggs to prevent their growth. Children, what would happen if these conditions are not taken care of? Let me give you the example of grains. If the grains are damaged in these godowns, there would be discoloration. By looking at the color of the grains only, you can get to know that these are spoiled ones. And no shopkeeper and even the people, nobody would like to buy that discolored grains because they have been spoiled. Then there is loss in weight because insects have eaten them up. There can also be poor germinability of these grains, and they cannot be used in future for growing the next crop. And as a result, the marketability of these stored grains is reduced greatly. So dear children, farmers are protecting the farm products from the time of sowing to the time it reaches the market. Their hard work is the reason that we have food on our tables every day. So give a thought to the dedication of farmers. Thank you and see you soon.